During the early 1940s, the world was engulfed in the turmoil of World War II. The United States, fearing the potential for Nazi Germany to develop nuclear weapons, initiated the Manhattan Project. This secretive and ambitious program aimed to develop atomic bombs. Led by the brilliant scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the project brought together some of the greatest scientific minds of the era. After years of intense research and experimentation, the first successful test of an atomic bomb took place on July 16, 1945, at the Trinity site in New Mexico. The atomic bomb was subsequently used against Japan in August 1945, leading to the end of World War II. Following the war, the United States emerged as a global superpower with a dominant nuclear arsenal. The atomic bomb had changed the dynamics of warfare and international relations, ushering in a new era of fear and uncertainty. However, the development of nuclear technology didn't stop there. During the late 1940s and early 1950s, as the Cold War intensified between the United States and the Soviet Union, the arms race accelerated. The Soviet Union successfully detonated its first atomic bomb in 1949, raising the stakes for the United States to maintain its strategic advantage. Amidst this tense atmosphere, the hydrogen bomb emerged as the next terrifying development in nuclear weapons technology. Unlike atomic bombs that rely on fission, H-bombs utilize fusion reactions, resulting in an exponentially more powerful explosion. The idea of creating an H-bomb was met with both support and opposition within the scientific community and the government. J. Robert Oppenheimer, who had played a pivotal role in the development of atomic weapons, found himself at the center of this moral and ethical debate. In the early 1950s, Oppenheimer, along with other scientists like Enrico Fermi and Edward Teller, was called upon to provide advice to the United States Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, regarding the feasibility of building an H-bomb. Teller was an enthusiastic advocate for the H-bomb, believing it would bolster America's strategic position. Oppenheimer, on the other hand, was deeply concerned about the implications of pursuing such a weapon. He feared that the development of the H-bomb would escalate the arms race and heighten the risk of a catastrophic nuclear conflict. He also believed that the sheer destructive power of the H-bomb and its potential to cause unparalleled human suffering made it morally questionable. Despite his objections, the AEC, influenced by the prevailing Cold War mentality and the desire for military supremacy, opted to proceed with the H-bomb development. In November 1952, the United States successfully tested its first hydrogen bomb on the Inuitak Atoll in the Pacific. In response to this development, Oppenheimer's reservations only grew stronger. He became increasingly vocal in his criticism of the nuclear arms race and the dangerous course the world was taking. His activism against the H-bomb made him a controversial figure and put him at odds with the government and some of his fellow scientists who saw the H-bomb as necessary for national security. In 1954, the AEC conducted a security clearance review of Oppenheimer, which further strained his relationship with the government. The review questioned his loyalty and trustworthiness due to his opposition to the H-bomb and associations with leftist individuals during the 1930s and 1940s. Oppenheimer's security clearance was revoked, effectively ending his direct involvement in government science and policy matters. This decision was met with widespread criticism from the scientific community, who saw it as an attempt to suppress dissent and stifle intellectual freedom. Despite the setback, Oppenheimer remained an influential figure in academia and continued to speak out against nuclear proliferation and the dangers of the arms race. His protest against the H-bomb had a lasting impact, inspiring a generation of scientists and activists to work towards arms control and disarmament. In conclusion, the USA's nuclear program, which began with the development of atomic bombs during World War II, evolved into a complex and morally challenging effort to create ever more powerful nuclear weapons, including the H-bomb. J. Robert Oppenheimer's protest against the H-bomb demonstrated the ethical dilemmas faced by scientists and policymakers during the Cold War, and his legacy as a scientist and activist endures as a reminder of the importance of responsible and ethical use of scientific knowledge.